Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Abinyamanga Media for today's stories and detailed analysis from Kenya and all the four corners of the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, the African Union AUC election is happening on February 15th, the coming Saturday of this week. And I want you to listen to Mr. Mkisa, a guy who has worked with the United Nations for 8 good years, agreeing with what I've always told you, that this election goes beyond the actual campaigns you have been seeing. And it's not an election you can easily predetermine, because it's going to be voted by heads of states of various nations. And that's why that the diplomatic issues, that is international issues and African internal issues, are going to play a big deal in determining who wins that election. This is what Mr. Mkise had to say about that election.
The dynamics of electing leadership for Africa Union are not always in sync with good campaigning. That's why there's only been one non-Muslim leader of Africa Union, the lady from South Africa. You can't say that Francophone Africa campaign is better. The other dynamics are beyond the energies and resourcing of campaigns by the countries sponsoring candidates.
What's at play?
There are many different things. One, I've been told, I've promised otherwise, but traditionally, and I've seen this in the UN system where I worked for 8 years, Francophone Africa votes as a bloc when there's an election. And it's extremely difficult normally for Francophone Africa to vote as a bloc for a non-Francophone speaker if and when there's a Francophone speaker, French speaker among the candidates.
Right.
That's an important dynamic. Number two, there's a very large constituency of Muslim states, or Muslim majority states on this continent. They did not take it very kindly when the president of Kenya rushed to stand behind Israel on its unjustifiable genocide in Gaza. That doesn't sit well. That means that the Ruto does not become an asset if you're going to look for votes in Arabic Muslim countries in Africa.
There's more liability in that case.
Yes. And the main alternative to Raila is a Muslim who speaks French.
Yeah.
So those are important considerations. Number three, the Anglophone vote has been split. You remember SADC, which has a candidate from Madagascar, has apparently thrown its weight behind the candidate from Djibouti. And when Ramaphosa makes that statement, he's speaking for more than South Africa. So there are so many dynamics. To roll back these gains by the Djibouti candidate is a tall order. I know that Baba has done his best. I don't know how well it will work.
Just to add on that, ladies and gentlemen, remember that this election entails what we call lobbying. In 2017, Kenya had a candidate, the foreign minister at that time of the Uhuru Kenyatta regime, who was Madam Amina Mohamed, who ran for the same AU position. Our candidate at one particular time managed to get a total of 28 votes, but eventually we lost that election to the Chad candidate, who is the current chair, Musa Faki. Ladies and gentlemen, this election is hardly impossible for you to win at the first round, because according to the numbers and according to the voting, it's hardly impossible for you to get the 2/3 required votes at the first round, and most importantly, when we have more than 2 candidates. That's why you can win in the first round, like in the Kenyan candidate in 2017, Amina Mohamed. She won in the first round with 16 votes against Musa Faki, who had 14 votes. You can see that they were very far from the required 2/3 cutoff, which was at that time 36. And this time round, the heads of states who are going to vote are about 49. So the 2/3 required number for you to win is 33 plus votes. So you can go into that election, win that election with 25 votes, the following candidate having 20-something votes. Or you can equally divide that vote. You can get 25, the other candidate gets 24, that's 49. At that particular time, you have not reached the required 2/3, which is 33. So you go again and recampaign, lobby support from different heads of states. And this one goes on and on and on. And in 2017, when we had the candidate, the election went up to the 7th round, is when a winner was determined. So if this election is going to happen and in the first round we fail to get a winner, it's going to be repeated. You repeat. What happens in the repeat election is that these heads of states are considering their options. Maybe there is an head of state who didn't vote for Raila Odinga in the first round, but when lobbying is done, he might consider his options, and maybe because of some issues, some diplomatic issues, change his vote to a certain candidate. This is what is going to happen. And the reason why Mr. Mukisa is saying that the things that are not favoring Kenya is the French-speaking countries and the Islamic nations is because in the lobbying, it will be easy for a French president who voted for Raila to shift allegiance to the Djibouti candidate. But one thing that Raila has an advantage in this election is that he has done personal campaigns and reached this president himself and seek support. But when we come to the factors on the ground playing out, is like the Islamic speaking nations. Know that the Islamic community of Africa supported the Djibouti candidate. French speaking countries, Raila Odinga agreed to some, but others might want to vote for the Djibouti candidate. That's why it's a very difficult election to predetermine. As much as Raila Odinga has read this candidate, as much as Mahamoud has read some of these presidents, at the end of the day, it will make that decision, and this decision will have to come from what aligns with their interests. And that's why ladies and gentlemen, I've been saying that imagine a president who speaks French, a president who is Islam, and this president is not, or he has not been approached by either Raila Odinga or Mahamoud for any seeking support. That president is going to automatically vote for the Djibouti candidate because Islamic and French speaking. He'll want to align with this guy who speaks French and this guy who is Muslim. And that's one of the disadvantages that's working against Raila. But in terms of campaign, resource mobilization, and reaching out to these presidents between Raila Odinga and President Ruto, they have ultimately done the best. And that's why we hope that Raila Odinga might win this coming election. But otherwise, if he doesn't win, those are the things that will have worked against him. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, you can tell me what you think in the comment section. I'll do my part to give you a response. And if you're watching for the first time, always remember to take a second to subscribe to our channel so that we can grow together.